Free Britney. I have no clue what that is all about, but this video should educate us about it, and just let's watch together and see what's going on.
Okay, so a lot of my fans have been asking
Let's turn it down a little bit.
me a lot of
Wait, before the video starts, I literally don't know anything about it. I just saw it trending and I thought that might make a video about it, might, you know, go viral, whatever, and educate myself about it. Those are the two main reasons. So don't start being toxic in chat saying that I'm careless or whatever. I literally didn't know anything, but let's just educate ourselves.
questions during my comments. I listened.
Leave Britney alone!
The
All
classic.
of you who are concerned about me, all is well. My family has been going through a lot of stress and anxiety.
What is going on? I'm pretty sure that's not old age. That has to be something else. Right, let's turn the volume up a little bit more.
Lately, so I just needed time to deal.
Britney, like anyone else, should have the freedom to live
Miley
the life
Cyrus.
that's most authentic to her.
Free Britney Spears.
Free Britney, a fan movement dedicated to freeing pop star Britney Spears from her controlling team, has taken on a new life in
Controlling
2020.
team.
For over 10 years, Britney Spears
This reminds me of that episode of Rick and Morty where the planet person, how they had the ring to summon the planet person, and like they were in a team. It was like a corporate team, and they were like ready to sell her off.
has not been able to live a normal life. She can't drive a car or spend her own money. And the man responsible for this is her own father.
Wait,
Now,
huh?
fans want to rescue Britney, but the truth is much more confusing and dark than you might think. We have the full kettle, and it's about to spill.
The full kettle. Let me get my tea real quick. Part 1. Oh, there's more than one part.
Our story begins back in 2000.
We're just gonna watch the first part just to get ourselves familiarized about all this drama about Britney Spears.
2006.
Do I have to say Spears? I'm sure people know when I say Britney.
While there were some good things that happened during this time,
Britney.
Britney appeared to be on a downward spiral. In February and April, child services officials visited Britney twice after she was photographed holding her infant son in her lap as she drove, and after her son was accidentally dropped by a nanny. In May, Britney was photographed stumbling outside a New York City hotel while holding her infant son in one hand and a glass in the other. In June, Britney appeared on Dateline in a rambling interview, blaming the media scrutiny for turning her into an emotional wreck. She was later criticized for sobbing, chewing gum, and her makeup. In November, 2 months after giving birth to her second son, Britney filed for divorce from her husband, Kevin Federline, citing irreconcilable differences. She allegedly told Kevin she was filing for divorce via text message the night before. In December, the New York Post reported that the Los Angeles Department of Children and Family Services had been trying to set up a meeting with Britney about her children's welfare after her public behavior. The Post also said her family.
It's really hard to relate to these things because 1, I literally don't have kids. 2, I'm not even this famous or whatever. And the trauma she's been going through is only she knows.
Was concerned with her partying and antics with the paparazzi. Also in December, Britney released a message for her fans after being photographed several times without wearing underwear and being criticized for her public behavior. Every move I make at this point has been magnified more than I expected.
How would you even know?
And I probably did take my newfound freedom a little too far. I look forward to new year, new music, and a new me. In January 2007,
everybody's New Year's resolution is literally that line right there.
Britney posted another message for her fans.
Bro, this is old. 2007. Well, this goes back 2007.
Media has criticized my every move and printed a skewed perception of who I really am as a human being. Behind every decision I have made in my public life, there always seems to be an apparent contradiction. I have come to terms with that, which is why I usually don't pay much attention to it. On February 13th, a gossip website posted an email that allegedly came from one of
At least she's understanding of the situation she's in. I don't know, it's a psychology book or something. Like a crazy person doesn't know he's crazy. Like questioning yourself, if you are, it's like, am I crazy? If you ask yourself, are you crazy? That makes you sane, type of deal. I forgot the full sentence or the full context, but it was something like that.
Britney's
like when you question and recognize what's going on, that's when you know you are sane, type of deal.
Assistants saying Britney was on a downward spiral and that friends and family wanted her to get treatment. On February 16th, Britney was spotted shaving her own head and getting tattoos. On February 20th, Britney checked into a Los Angeles inpatient facility. The very next day, on February 21st, Britney checked out, then checked back into the facility. A month later, she finished the program and left the facility. In August, Britney's now ex-husband Kevin Federline sued her for full custody of their 2 sons. In September, Britney performed her new song Gimme.
Full custody. Okay. I don't know much about custody or whatever, but I'm guessing since she is the one that makes the most money and her husband seeing what's going on with her, like checking to the mental facility, all that stuff, I don't think suing should be the move. Like, just, you know, I don't know. People have different motives in life.
At the VMAs, the performance was widely ridiculed. On September 17th, the judge in her custody battle against Kevin Federline ordered Britney to undergo random drug and alcohol testing twice a week. Both parents are ordered to refrain from drinking while caring for their kids, and for 12 hours before
twice a week for how long?
Seeing them, but only Britney is required to have drug and alcohol testing. A few days later, Britney is charged with misdemeanor counts of hit and run and driving without a license after she allegedly crashed into a parked car in August. On October 1st, Britney is ordered to surrender custody of her sons to her ex-husband. A few days later, a Los Angeles court commissioner grants her son visitation rights. On October 16th,
wait, she didn't have visitation rights?
into a local police station and is booked on her previous misdemeanor charges. The next day, Britney is barred from visiting her kids until she complies with an undisclosed court order. On October 30th, Britney is granted 3 supervised visits per week with her sons. On December 4th, court documents revealed that child welfare investigators are looking into mistreatment and neglect allegations. An attorney for the Los Angeles County Department of Child and Family Services said the department was concerned about the children being left in Britney's care.
Wait, but she didn't have custody though.
It all came to a head late at night on January 3rd, 2008. Britney allegedly refused to turn her sons over to her ex-husband's bodyguard. Police were called to try and settle the dispute, and as the standoff continued, paparazzi swarmed her home. 4 hours later, in the early hours of January 4th, Britney was taken to Cedars-Sinai Medical Center for an evaluation, and paparazzi chased the ambulance as it drove away. According to a Los Angeles Police Department spokesperson, Britney appeared to be under the influence of an unknown substance. Later that day, a court commissioner granted full legal and physical custody of the children to Kevin Federline. Britney was then involuntarily
I thought it was just visiting rights with supervision. What? How does she have full custody?
Committed to Cedars-Sinai's psychiatric ward under a 5150 hold, indicating that medical professionals believe she's a danger to herself and or others, and that she required 24-hour supervision. Reports at the time initially claimed she was to be held for a minimum of 72 hours, but just over 24 hours after she was admitted, Britney was released from Cedars-Sinai. She was accompanied by Dr. Phil, who told Entertainment Tonight she was released moments before my arrival and was packing when I entered the room. We visited for about an hour before I walked with her to her car. My meeting with Britney and some family members this morning in her room at Cedars leaves me convinced more than ever.
What does Dr. Phil do other than being a doctor that's like an entertainer also? What's up with that? Is he just there to get a story, or what's going on?
That she is in dire.
Does he have legitimate qualifications to do any of this stuff?
need of both medical and psychological intervention. However,
I mean, I guess you can't be a doctor without qualifications. You could be a music doctor, so.
on January 9th, a Spears family spokesperson told the
He could be a chiropractor, whatever that word
Today
is.
Show that Dr. Phil betrayed the family's trust by speaking with the media. On
There you go.
January 31st, Britney is taken to the hospital by ambulance, followed by over a dozen police
He's an
officers
entertainer.
and 2
Of
helicopters.
course he's gonna say
According
something to the media.
TMZ, this second psychiatric hold was coordinated with the LAPD, and they worked with Britney's team for weeks. The Los Angeles Times reported that Britney was taken to UCLA Medical Center to be placed on a
UCLA.
mental evaluation hold. That same day, Britney's father, Jamie Spears, had conservator paperwork ready to be filed the next day, on February 1st.
Bro,
Before
they're
we go any further,
destroying
I
her.
should
What is
explain
going
what a
on?
conservatorship
They should
is.
try to
According
help
to the California
her
courts,
instead of
a
take away things from her.
conservatorship is a court case where a judge appoints a responsible person or organization, called the conservator, to care for another adult, called the conservatee, who cannot care for himself or herself or manage his or her own finances. Basically, a conservator is a guardian, someone who has control over an incapacitated person's finances and health matters. In some cases, like Britney's,
Makes
a
sense.
conservator can have
They're
full
actually
legal
trying to help.
control over someone's life. Britney's conservators are her father, Jamie Spears, and, until 2019, attorney Andrew Wallet. Together, they controlled Britney's fortune, and Jamie also allegedly negotiated her business deals. In California, there are 2
that's
types
terrible.
of conservators: those who are responsible for the person
Like, all business deals should be halted until things are under control. Like, you can't be making other, like, business deals with other people on somebody's behalf that is, what is it called? Unable to take care of themselves. Like, what does this person know?
person's physical and mental well-being, and those who are responsible for the conservatee's finances. With her father and Andrew Wallet, Britney has both types.
Bro, that name is just sus. Andrew Wallet.
While Jamie
Nah.
initially petitioned the
Andrew
court for
Wallet.
a temporary conservatorship, the paperwork he filed indicated he wanted a permanent conservatorship. As well,
Damn. Andrew Wallet would be a nice banker's name.
according to the 2007 California Probate Code, the proposed conservatee is required to have at least 5 days' notice before a hearing. In his paperwork, Jamie Spears petitioned the court to waive that notice requirement. The court granted that request. According to the New York Times,
Wow.
Jamie earns around
I think I know what happened. This guy got a taste of the cash and just didn't want to let it go.
$130,000 per year as a conservator.
Like, not just taking, like, at first it was reasons like trying to help, but now it's like, ooh, this is nice. Let's see if I can have this forever.
And he has the rent from his office space reimbursed by the court. In 2008, around the time the conservatorship was being implemented, Britney didn't seem happy with the arrangement. Britney hired a lawyer named Adam Streisand shortly after the conservatorship was granted, and Adam wrote an email to Jamie
Related
Spears'
to
attorneys on February
Bobble?
2nd. Adam wrote, "I am told that you called Spears' former custody lawyer, Ron Rail, and told him that Britney has been adjudged incompetent. That is false, and you know it. You further stated that Mr. Rail has no right to see his client without approval from the temporary conservators. That is also false." He then accused the conservatorship of orchestrating nothing more than a hostile takeover of our client for improper purposes. On February 4th, Adam appeared in court and claimed that Britney wanted to fire her father as conservator. The court did not recognize Adam as Britney's counsel and ejected him from the courtroom. In court, Jamie's
What is the reason that they didn't recognize her?
attorneys and Sam Ingham, a court-appointed investigator, and later
Bro, it looks like a really, really old Jeff Goldblum.
Britney's court-appointed attorney, claimed Britney did not have the mental capacity to hire her own attorney or understand the legal proceedings. Speaking with the New York Times in 2016, Adam said Britney told him she was not comfortable with her father controlling her finances. It was clear to me that she seemed a bit agitated, but my sense was that she did have the capacity to pick a lawyer and that she could make a rational decision. On February 6th, UCLA Medical
I think it's UCLA.
center released Britney early because doctors had stabilized her enough where they could not continue to hold her against her will. That same day, she got a ride from a member of the paparazzi to the Beverly Hills Hotel for a meeting with her then business manager and Adam Streisand. Around this time, Britney arranged for her friend to conference call attorney John Eardley to discuss fighting the conservatorship. In a recording of the call transcribed by Rolling Stone, Britney can be heard saying, "I basically just want my life back. I want to be able to drive my car. I want to be able to live in my house by
I want to be able to drive my car. I want to be able to live in my house by myself. I want to be able to say who's going to be my security guard. First of all, she didn't have the rights to drive her car because she didn't have a license.
myself.
So,
I want to be able to say who's going to be my security guard." Later in February, John Eardley tried to break Britney's conservatorship, filing paperwork in federal court claiming the conservatorship was violating Britney's civil rights. John revealed several interesting things about Britney's current situation in his filing. Mr. Spears has now moved into her house and is taking control of her financial assets, as well as her physical custody, all without the benefit of a hearing where Miss Spears would be present. Eardley said that Spears has never been on good terms with her father and said he was concerned for the emotional and physical safety of Britney under these circumstances. Eardley said Spears has been in a form of private confinement for nearly a month. Certainly, at this point, it is likely that circumstances have changed and it is time that the conservatee be brought into court for a hearing, where the court can evaluate her in person and hear testimony directly from her. When the Associated
okay, that sounds reasonable. But why is she in a private confinement? That sounds off. It's like being kept in a cage type. That's what it sounds like to me.
Press asked John about the last time he spoke.
Who is stopping Britney from voicing her thoughts in court?
With Britney, he said, "I talked to her a few days ago, and someone wrestled the phone away from her. I've not talked to her since then." And in a 2008 interview with MTV, Britney shared her feelings about the conservatorship. "I think it's too in control. If I wasn't under the restraints I'm under, I'd feel so liberated. There's no excitement, there's no passion. Even when you go to jail, you know there's the time when you're going to get out. But in this situation, it's never ending."
Wow.
So, how did the Free Britney movement begin? In 2009, Breathe Heavy, a fan site, unofficially began the fan campaign under the belief that Britney was being unfairly controlled under the conservatorship. Since the conservatorship began and in the following years, members of Britney's fanbase and the Free Britney movement have believed that Britney became a victim of her team's control, focusing specifically on her father, Jamie. For years, fans have scrutinized every paparazzi photo and Instagram post, trying to see if Britney was leaving clues or sending out cries for help. Fans believed she did not want to be
investigators, self-proclaimed investigators. That's bad and good, so it's neutral, depending on who it is.
Under the conservatorship. As for the fan site,
like the cat killing lady, that was insane. How they figured out where she lived and stuff.
That sparked the movement, the site's owner, Jordan Miller, said he was in a months-long legal dispute with the conservatorship. In March 2009, Jordan said Jamie Spears' lawyers sent him a legal notice demanding he close down his fan site. They claimed Jordan was using Britney's likeness for profit through ads on the site. From Jordan's perspective, Jamie was using Britney's money and legal team to attack him and force him to stop talking about the conservatorship. Jordan also claimed that Jamie told him, "I will destroy your..."
Whoa.
After the conservatorship was implemented and later officially made permanent in late 2008, Britney had a career resurgence. She released her sixth studio album, Circus, in December 2008, which received positive reviews. She also guest starred.
I remember one of the songs was like in Step Up. That was like the first time ever hearing Britney Spears for me.
On an episode of the sitcom How I Met Your Mother, which was also well received. In the years since her conservatorship began, Britney's career has continued to do well. She released 3 more albums, went on tour, was a judge on The X Factor, and had a successful Las Vegas residency.
She looks sane, so why don't they just stop with the conservatorship or
However,
whatever.
there were still concerns brewing under the surface. In 2016, the New York Times released a report on the status of Britney's conservatorship. It detailed how much of Britney's life was handled, at least in part, by her conservators.
Did the conservator agreement cause her life to get back to normal? It's my question.
Her most mundane purchases, from a drink at Starbucks to a song on iTunes, are tracked in court documents as part of the plan to safeguard the great fortune she has earned but does not ultimately control. Even though her conservators were credited with saving Britney's career after 2008, the report acknowledges the conservators seem to notice the improvements Britney has made over the years. After successfully fighting to keep her from testifying in at least 3 prior lawsuits, a probate judge had previously agreed that doing so could cause her irreparable harm. Ms. Spears' conservators allowed her to testify on Monday in a case filed against her by a former self-described manager. They agreed that giving such testimony
self-described manager. Wow.
Is not likely to
people are self-describing themselves as many things, and that's one I've never heard. Self-described manager.
To her, according to court papers. Since the
I'm a self-described YouTuber.
conservatorship began, some restrictions have been eased. More far-reaching rollbacks were discussed several years ago but never occurred, according to a person who has been involved in Miss Spears' care who spoke on the condition of anonymity. People close to Britney described how Britney viewed the conservatorship after living in it for nearly 10 years. Miss Spears' friends and former associates said in interviews that, for her, the conservatorship has become an accepted fact of life, not a cage, but a protective bubble that allows her to worry about her true passions, music and her children. But the New York Times also pointed out an apparent flaw in the conservatorship system. Ultimately, some of the people who would help to decide whether to end it are the conservators and the doctors who now help oversee it, many of whom receive fees from Miss Spears' estate for their work on her behalf. And should Miss Spears ask to be released, her cause would probably...
It's like firing yourself type of deal. And who in their right mind would fire themselves? And this is where she is right now, according to this video. But it's not ending yet, so.
Probably be led by the man the court appointed to be her chief advocate, a lawyer, Samuel D. Ingham III. Mr. Ingham's role is, among...
Like, this job seems to be the easiest job yet. All they have to do is stop her from appealing this thing that they have, and they just get paid.
Other things to ensure that the conservators do not loot her assets, abuse their power, or inappropriately restrict her freedom. There has been some debate in California over whether court-appointed lawyers do enough to advocate the rights of those under conservatorship. Just last year, the state's Senate Committee on Judiciary noted in a report, in theory, the court-appointed counsel should be arguing on the proposed conservatee's behalf for a less restrictive alternative to conservatorship whenever possible. Mr. Ingham has been awarded more than $2 million in fees for his work on Miss Spears' behalf since 2008. This is in addition to the $6.9 million paid from the estate to the conservators and other lawyers who have helped manage Miss Spears' affairs under the current arrangement. Miss Spears has never publicly questioned any of these payments, but critics of the process have, and things would come to a head in 2019.
2020,
this is the end of part 1. In the next part, we'll be exploring Britney's turmoil in 2019.
Wow.
And why her fans believe she's ready to get out of her father's control.
Okay.
All that and more coming up in part 2. Again, please wait until the end of the series before forming your opinion on what happened.
Okay. I mean, that's a little understanding, so to get the full understanding, just watch part 2, I guess. And that being said, hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you learned something. Comment below if you are starting to understand what's going on, and if you care or not. Adios.